Does credit card debt have to be paid after someone dies? What's up, everybody? My name's Josh Key. I'm the managing attorney at Key Law. We take the headache out of estate planning and probate so you can focus on what's important. Before we begin, if you have questions about this or anything related to estate planning or probate, you can speak to an attorney for free by going to keylawllc.com. We'd be happy to speak to you. Now, on with the question. Does credit card debt have to be paid when someone dies? And the answer to that generally is yes, it does. So there's a major misconception out there that believes that it's kind of like student loans, that when someone passes away, that credit card debt is for some reason just forgiven, that they just kind of wipe it away and that it's gone. And unfortunately, that's just not true. So what ends up happening is when someone is gone, the credit card debt has to be paid out of the estate, whether that's via a will or via intestate without a will. And why that portion of it is important is because the person that will end up dealing with this is the executor of the estate. And that executor is either appointed by the will or appointed by the probate court in the event that no will was drafted. Shame on you. So the executor then will have to kind of deal with that, and the executor's role is to compile all of the assets, all of the accounts, and also all of the debts. And so that's where this credit card debt kind of comes into play. Typically what will end up happening is that once the person is passed away, the executor will have to notify creditors, and typically that's done by publishing notice of the deceased passing away in the local newspaper or specific periodical as designated by the probate court. I know that's very, very long-winded. So that's typically what happens, and these creditors kind of keep track and are notified by that, and the executor sometimes, if they are known creditors, will send a notice out to them. And so they have a certain period where they can file claims and file their claim for money against the estate, and in some instances can open a probate themselves. But that's a little bit beyond the scope of this video. Just something to kind of keep in mind. So what ends up happening is this creditor will file a claim, and it will go through the probate court process and probate process to determine whether it's a valid claim or not. And typically, if the claim is filed timely and is shown to be a legitimate claim, it will have to come out of the estate, and that's where the executor pays it from the debts or the accounts that are typically listed. Just something also to kind of keep in mind is that if you have a 401k or life insurance and the beneficiary designations are already set out to specific beneficiaries, that will not be in danger of being used to pay these credit card debts. Now, if you are an executor and some of this comes in, what you can do is you can request a debt validation. And what that's basically saying is, hey, I would like to see your legal right and legitimacy and the documents that you have for the legitimacy of the debt. And they will have to provide that. So my experience has been in my practice that most of the time creditors don't timely file, or the documentation is not there to sufficiently support a payout of the claim. Another thing to keep in mind is that credit card debts are usually the lowest priority in the payout of the estate. But unfortunately, they just don't go away. So that's it for today. Again, my name is Josh Key. I'm the managing attorney at Key Law. We take the headache out of estate planning and probate so you can focus on what's important. Like, share, and subscribe.